How are you all? Just wait for a few people to join and then we'll get cracking. Okay, let's get cracking. Hello to whoever has just joined us. Welcome to Watch It Wednesday. This is my regular weekly feature where we make some cards and I'm live with you for about half an hour, so we'll see how we get on. Tonight I'm going to be showing you a card that I made for the recent Pinkies weekend that we went on. Hi Baz. The Pinkies weekend that we recently went on last weekend. It's basically a weekend for demonstrators to get together, craft, enjoy a lot of chit chat, drink a few gins and just have a great time. I volunteered to make a wow make and take at the end of Saturday, which was a crazy period for all of us, and it was lots of fun. So I'm going to show you that make and take tonight. It's always quite nerve-wracking when you're demonstrating to demonstrators, because you don't really know how to pitch it, if someone would have done this before, if it's going to be boring, if it's not going to be enough, or if it's going to be too much. So I get a little bit stressed, but here we go. It seemed to go down well and it was lots of fun. So I used A Good Man stamp set, which, as you know, is one of my favourites in the new catalogue, and this is the card that we made. The idea with these cards is that it's really quite basic, quite bland, looks a bit dull if I'm honest, and then we pull this up to reveal the colour. So it's lots of fun, and actually it looks more complicated than it actually is. It's all about precision, and we're going to use the Stamparatus for that. So I'll just show you again. Ready? Whee! Here we go. There you are. So it's lots of fun. Ready? Let's do this. So we're going to use the Stamparatus. Move my stamps out the way. We're going to use the Stamparatus, and as you can see what people have been up to. We'll take our magnet off. To start with, we're going to use a Whisper White Note card. Ran out of time. Should have been less chatting, Mum. So we're going to fold our card base and we're going to pop it in the top right corner. Pop it in the top right corner. Now we've got this lovely frame, and this frame has been cut with the stitched rectangles. It's the same size of the card, which is 3.5 inches by 5, and then we've just cut the aperture in the middle. To secure it, we just lay our magnet across like so, and then we're going to take our stamp, which is this one here. I'm just going to make sure it's clean. It is clean, and we're going to place that where we want it to go. Now this bit is really important, but you only have to do it once. So we're going to place that like so, and we're going to fold our plate across to pick up the stamp. Now with this one, because we're going to colour it with Stampin' Blends, we're going to use my trusty Memento. Ink it up so it's nice and we get a good stamp. Here we go. And then all we do is we lay it over and we stamp. So there we have our stamp. We're going to take all of it off now, and then what we've got now is a piece of window sheet which measures the same size as the card. Just making sure it's clean. And then we're going to lay that in exactly the same position. Oh dear. It's hard to get these magnets off. Make sure it's right. So we're going to lay it in the same position, secure it with our magnet. Now, because we're going to stamp it on the window sheet, we're going to stamp with Stays On. This means that it won't smudge and it will set nicely on our window sheet, make it nice and shiny. And then we're going to fold it over and stamp it on our window sheet. Here we go. So we have this one and we have this one. So the idea is you will put that on your card and it matches up See? Now let's get cracking to the rest of it. Oh, before I go, we need to stamp him on a post-it note. The trick with the post-it note, because you want to use him as a mask, we want to make sure the sticky piece is underneath, is on the piece. What am I saying? We want to make sure the image is stamped over the sticky piece. And it doesn't matter if we stamp it in whatever ink. Okay, so now we are done with our Stamparatus. Hooray! And we're going to quickly cut him out. There we go. So for those demonstrators that are watching tonight, have you all recovered from the weekend? It's taken me a good 2 days to get back to normal. Normal? Have I ever been normal? To recover, shall we say. How many cards have I got now, Baz? Well, I made 2 for the samples, plus my original one that we had to change ever so slightly, plus this one. So that would be 4. I could have prepared this earlier, but I didn't. I was hoping there would be 1 left in the box. My new scissor charm. Yes, it is. So see this little fella here? He's our little UPS man. And he's a shrinky, and he was also one of our make and takes. And Michelle kindly added him to a charm for us. So now I will never lose my scissors. We'll see. Okay. I was still tired. I'm still getting over it. You are, Mum. We did wear you out, didn't we? I blame the trek back across London at the end of Sunday and all the excitement on the train home. Okay, so we now have our little template. Now the idea of this, I blame the gin. Hi Corin, lovely to see you. Thank you for joining us. Ready? We're going to lay him on there. So the idea behind this now, and I have had chance to re-ink my ink pad. It got very dry over the weekend. We're going to colour in our background. Now you have to stay to the end of this because I've got another card that I've made with this technique and I really like it. It's really cute. So just colouring in our background. It's like I'm doing the ironing. If only the ironing was this easy. Okay. And then before we take our mask off, we're going to use, not that one, but this one. We've got a Night of Navy blend, not that end, this end, Night of Navy blend, and we're just going to spritz the background just to give it something a bit different. And then what we do is we peel off our little mask. There he is. Now I quite like that as a card on its own, just a little sentiment. That would be really, really lovely. But we're not going to stop there. We're going to carry on. So now we're going to colour in our image. And this is where I have to be really careful to not colour her feet in, which I did several times in Night of Navy. I really like this image. I think it reminds me a lot of my girls. If only ironing was as fun as crafting. If only. I might actually be able to get in my wardrobe if it was. And I'm not being too, as you know, I'm not very precise with my colouring. Okay, so there's his trousers, and we've got his hair. And her hair, and I'm copying my girls here because my girls have got blonde hair. So I told you it reminds me of Darren. Unfortunately, my husband doesn't have any hair though, so I can't actually send this to him because he'd say, "Who's that chap then?" And then his shirt we are going to do in Smoky Slate. Oops, sorry, I just had a message pop through on my phone then. And again, we'll go over with our colour lifter. And then to finish, her little pyjamas are going to be in purple. I used the colour lifter on everything. So Baz didn't realise I used the colour lifter on the jeans. Honestly, I use the colour lifter the most. The colour lifter and Smoky Slate are the two that I use the most. And I've got a little bit there that you can just see, but we won't worry about that. So that is our card done now. And so we're going to build our card up. So where is he? So we now have our base. Now this piece here, hi Linny, lovely to see you. Missed you this weekend. So we're going to put this piece here. We're going to make our channel that this piece runs in. And how we do that is with this piece. And it's literally 1/4 inch wide and it's the length of an A4. And all we do, pop that there, we add this to each side of the card. We push it flush up against the card, the edge of the card, and then we snip it off. And then we repeat on this side. Oh, I've forgotten his shoes. Oh no. Must go back and do his shoes. And then we add this here like so. Now this little piece is very important. He is the bit that we stick at the bottom. The reason we stick at the piece at the bottom is because we want it to stop here, otherwise it would just keep on going through, and we don't want that. So we put this little piece here. Before I do that, I'm just going to colour his shoes in, just with a basic black marker. Could be that he's wearing his slippers, she's in her pyjamas, but hey ho, we'll go for black. And then now what we do is we add this piece. And you want to stick it down so that it lines up exactly and it looks like it's one image that you've stamped. The trick with this bit, when you stick it down, you add the glue to the white pieces that you've creating your channel with, and then you stick it down. You don't want to add it at the top, and then just carefully push it down. So that we have our piece. Hi Sandra, nice to see you. Thank you for joining. And then we add that. But before we do that, we're going to make sure our channel fits. Now in theory, this should be roughly 3 1/4 inches wide, but we just want to make sure that is the case. You may need to trim it slightly, and we do, just ever so slightly. Take that away. Now, perfect, so that now fits in there. We just need to trim a bit off at the top. Roughly 1/4 inch, I would say. Oh. Maybe not that much, maybe that much. No, excuse me, it doesn't matter if this is, hello, it doesn't matter if this is slightly too short. No, that's perfect. Take it out. Then we can stick this piece on like so. Now we know it all fits. You can do the frame before you do that bit, but I find to do the frame afterwards, you can just see the channel a little bit better. Oh. And then we stick this on. when I originally made this card, I did the frame in white, and I sent it to Michelle and she went, I think you should change the colour of the frame, and I'm so glad I did, because could you imagine that piece was white, it just looked too boring. So there we are. Now with this channel we've also got another piece which is 2 inches wide. I think it's by 14.9 centimetres, sorry to mix them up. And we're going to use this punch, which is the tag topper, the original tag topper, and we're going to push it in as far as it will go and then just punch. That gives us our tag edge, and we're going to stick that to the back of this piece. Now what I did on this one is I coloured it in with the same blue there, but I'm not going to do that on this one. And then rather than lining it up at the bottom, we're going to line it up here, because we want to make sure that there's not too much at the top. We can just snip that bit off at the bottom. Okay. Now the reason we do it all the way to the end is because you don't want anything to get caught as you're pushing it back into the top. So that's why we do that all the way to the end. Snip that off completely. And then we slide that in there. So I'm putting it between the acetate and the card. There you are. Oh, we just need to snip that off a bit more at the top. Like so. Oh, you can hear the cows going now. Please be quiet. There you are. And then that. It's not quite dry. That's why it's lifting. There we are. So that bit slides in there like so. And then we're going to take a piece of, this is denim ribbon, 1 centimetre ribbon. We're going to cut that off like so. And then we're going to pass that through there like that. And then we're going to use, come out from my little box. Time to have an ice, oh, you're going to have an ice cream now. We're going to use this, which is the baker's twine that goes with the Sail Away sweet. Pop that back in the box before I lose it. And then for this piece, we're going to tie this around the ribbon. We're just going to tie it in a bow. This is when you realise I am terrible with bows. Yep, as usual, it's rubbish. I know you could use a bow maker, but could you imagine using a bow maker on this right now? I'd get myself in all sorts of trouble. So there we have that. Oh, there. How terrible is that? This is when live crafting goes wrong. That's a bit better. A bit better, but not really. Okay, I'm just going to leave that. And then finally we've got the sentiment to stamp. So we've got a bit of basic black. And the sentiment I used was, you do a great job of being a great guy. So we'll use that right now. Let's grab a Versa mark. And a block, that would help, wouldn't it? Here we go. You could use any sentiment, of course, but this is the one I chose originally, so we'll keep it the same. Stamp that just there, and then we've got some white embossing glue. You're late again, Jane. What have you been up to? It's okay. I know you're a busy lady. I'm just grateful you're here now. Right, and then we'll quickly heat emboss that. Something to watch after guides, Jo. Oh, I think you might need some quiet time, don't you? Just going to set this. Lovely. Pop that back. And we're just going to cut this out. I know I'm cutting it with my scissors, but it all adds to the handmade. You went for some exercise, Jane. Where did you go? That's like so, and we're just going to pop that on there. So there we have our finished colour reveal card. A walk around the village. Oh, I'm glad you didn't go far. Here we have him. So he is the same card, and we pull him out to reveal the picture. We pop it back in. Now the trick with this card is on the inside. You'll see what I've done with the original. This piece here is the piece that came out of the original frame. What I've done is, because you've got bleed come through the paper with the blends, I've just added it to the back. Now you could add a sentiment to there, or you could do anything, or you could leave it like that. It's entirely up to you, but it just finishes it off nicely, I think. So there are our 2 colour reveal cards, and then, as I promised at the beginning of this, I've got another one for you which looks a little bit like this. So I've used up the scraps that I had left over basically from the make and take at the weekend, but this one's slightly different in that it's a shaker card. So you'll see as you pull this away, you've got the shaker bits inside, and the pig, he's been stamped onto the acetate. Oh, thank you, Linny. He's been stamped onto the acetate, and then I've used, you can see them here, they're the dimensional strips to make it into a shaker card. And here's a little bit of a clue to what's going on behind, and I think he's really cute. And then rather than just doing it all plain in all one colour in the background, I've used 2. Now for this one, I've actually created a stopper here just with the dimensional strips so that all my sequins don't fall out. And there it is. So there we have our 3 cards all done for you. Thank you very much for joining me tonight. That was my colour reveal wow make and take from the Pinkies weekend this weekend. I'll put all details on my blog for you tomorrow, the measurements and everything. But I hope you enjoyed it. I will see you all next week, same time, same place. Have a good week, everyone. Bye. Bye.